Okay, in this video lesson, we're going to talk about the consequences of uniform convergence. In the previous lesson, we clearly defined what it meant when we say that a sequence of functions uniformly converges on a set. We found that uniform convergence is a stronger mode of convergence in the sense that it implies pointwise convergence but not the other way around. You see that pointwise convergence has the following disadvantages. If you have a sequence of function fn converging pointwise to a function f on a set x, then the following things can happen. It can happen that each member of fn is continuous, but the pointwise limit f may not be continuous at all. No? It may also happen that, based on examples, it can happen that each of the members of the sequence is differentiable, but f is may not be differentiable at all. And even when f is differentiable, it can happen that the limit of the derivatives, no, fn primes, the limit of the derivative is not the same as the derivative of the limit. In analysis, this is an important property that we don't like to miss, so this is an unfortunate event. Okay, and if it can happen that each fn is integrable, Riemann integrable on x, but unfortunately it can happen that f is not integrable. And even when f is integrable, it could happen that the limit of the integral is not the same as the integral of the limit, meaning the limit and integration are non-commutative operations, or they cannot be the order cannot be changed. Okay, so we will see how the uniform convergence can turn these negative things into something positive. So in general, for a pointwise convergence, not because each fn enjoys a certain property p, that doesn't mean that f will have that property p as well. But uniform convergence does a lot of nice things, as we can see. So here, fn converges uniformly to f on the space x, which is actually a metric space because we're going to talk about continuity with metric d. If each fn is continuous on x, then f is continuous on x, meaning to say the uniform limit of a sequence of continuous functions must be continuous. Continuity is preserved. That's why we have an example where each fn is continuous, f is not. Maybe the reason is because the convergence is, in fact, the conclusion is that the convergence is not uniform. So to prove this, remember, we're going to prove the continuity of f on x. To prove the continuity of f on a function, we need to show that for every point in the set, so we fix an x0 in x, and we fix an epsilon in greater than 0, we want to show that there exists a delta greater than 0, so that whenever x is in x and its distance from x0 is less than delta, then it can be guaranteed that the distance of f of x from f of x0 can be made less than epsilon. So this is our goal. Okay, so paano? So first, we take advantage of the uniform convergence. Because epsilon greater than 0 is given, mainit ang mata ng uniform convergence sa epsilon, no? Lagi siya nagbubuga ng n, so that you can do a lot of things here. You can make this less than any positive number that you wish. For my purpose, iipitin ko siya sa epsilon over 3. Epsilon over 3 qualifies to be positive pa rin naman, di ba? For all x whenever n is big. In particular, because this holds for all n greater than or equal to n, it must hold when n is exactly n. So this must be true for all x in x. And because this is true for all x in x, it must be true for x naught, because x naught is in x. So if I replace x here by x naught, this is what will happen. So here, right now I have 3 inequalities. Later I will use all of these. Ito, which will hold if these conditions hold. Second, ito, which will hold if this condition hold. And third, itong inequality na ito. Now it's known that each fn is continuous. Therefore, in particular, fn is continuous at x naught. By the continuity of fn at x naught, we can select a delta greater than 0 so that whenever x is in x and its distance from x naught is less than delta, we can force this thing to be as small as we wish. So in this case, I will also let epsilon over 3. Now the reason for that the choice of epsilon over 3 will be clear later, because I want something later to be less than epsilon. So that's why. But in reality, the way mathematicians write this proof, no, in reality at first we don't have an idea what number should we put here. We only get to decide on these numbers after foreseeing what will happen in the future, no? So it's like manghuhula. No, actually, nafo-foresee mo na kung paano maging less than epsilon yung gusto mong maging less than epsilon. That's why we have to make these choices. So medyo dapat advance ka mag-isip. That's why ang mga proofs sa analysis ay different sa mga proofs sa, for example, sa algebra. No, it's quite different because it trains your mind to think in advance. Anyway, going back. With these inequalities, if we now pick an arbitrary x in x that has distance less than delta from x naught, we can get our stuff done. Ito yung gusto natin maging less than epsilon, no? Tayo yung magdadagdag bawas, tas mag-a-apply ng triangle inequality. From f of x, magsasubtract ako ng fn of x, dinagdag ko siya pabalik, tapos magsasubtract ulit ako ng fn x naught, magdadagdag ulit ako, then finally susubtract ko ito. Then apply the triangle inequality. Ito yung mga inequalities na nandito. Each one of them is less than epsilon over 3. Well, that's the reason for epsilon over 3. So that this will become less than epsilon. That proves that f is continuous at x naught, and because x naught is arbitrary in x, we can say that f is continuous. Done. And as a remark, if you were able to find a sequence of continuous functions converging pointwise to a function f that is not continuous, then we can conclude that the convergence is not uniform. As a quick example, you can consider the sequence defined by f and x. Ito yung last example in the previous lesson. We find that the pointwise limit is this, and this is not continuous at 0. So, if each one of these is continuous, yet this limit is not continuous, one thing is what we can conclude from here. Now we can conclude that the convergence is not uniform, because if the convergence was uniform, continuity will be preserved. I have a question though. If h, f, n, and f are continuous on x, and fn converges pointwise to f, does that guarantee that the convergence is uniform? I don't think it's covered in the theorem. No, I don't think the theorem has to say something about this. In fact, we have an example that we have done already. Yung x over n. Note that each of x over n is continuous. It converges pointwise to the 0 function. We were able to show in the previous lesson that this does not converge to 0 by the uniformly on the interval from minus infinity to infinity. So this is an example where even though continuous ito, it converges pointwise to that, hindi mo magagaranti ang uniform convergence that way. The next theorem is about the role the uniform convergence is playing with integrability. Similar to the conclusion for continuous functions, if fn converges uniformly to f on AB, each fn is integrable on AB, then we can guarantee that the limit f is also integrable on AB. Furthermore, this is one nice thing, no? The limit of the integral is equal to the integral of the limit. So the interchange between the limit and the integral will happen. For the proof, well, we wanted to show first that f is integrable on AB. How do we do that? How do we show that f is integrable on AB? We use the Riemann's criterion. For every epsilon greater than 0, a partition can be found so that u minus f L, can be made less than epsilon for a choice of some partition P. So here, to do that, to be able to achieve that, we take advantage of the uniform convergence. So, again, kapag may epsilon greater than 0, nagagalit yung uniform convergence, nagbubuga siya ng n. Okay? We can select an n so that you can make this as small as you wish, so long as x is here and n is greater than or equal to n. In this case, ang aking gagawing upper bound ay epsilon over 3 times b minus a. Again, I have a reason for that choice because I want something to be less than epsilon later. In particular, because each fn is, this holds for all n, index n greater than or equal to capital N, then this must hold precisely for f sub big N. This is true for all x in AB. Now, because each one of these is integrable, in particular fn is integrable, right? So I can apply the Riemann's criterion for fn. So I can construct a partition P so that the upper sum minus the lower sum of fn can be made as small as I wish. In this case, I could make it less than epsilon over 3 if I want. The next step is to consider f minus fn. Call it G. Now take note that this part, this is the negative of G, but because we are in the absolute under an absolute value, the absolute value of G is equal to this, and it's less than epsilon over 3 over b. 3 times b minus a. So I can say that g of x is between these two numbers. Now, there's something that I would like to recall. Do you remember this? If f of x is between two numbers, m and m, then we can say that m times b minus a is less than or equal to the lower sum, and of course, less than or equal to the upper sum. The upper sum cannot be more than that. They call this property. I will apply this property to G because this is little m, this is big M. So, multiply mo to ng b minus a parehas, ito ang mangyari. Having said that, if I subtract qg minus lg, okay, parang may dalawa kasing inequality dito, ito, tsaka ito. Dito sa inequality na to, multiply ka ng negative 1, pabaligtad dito, then i-add mo yung dalawang inequality, you will get the following. So I know that UGP minus LGP is less than or equal to 2 epsilon over 3. Since F is the sum of Fn and G, at dito nang galing yan, the upper sum for F is less than or equal to the upper sum for Fn plus the upper sum for G. And that the lower sum of f is greater than or equal to the lower sum of fn and the lower sum of g. Kasi yung upper sum was, well, inspired by the supremum, ang L ay inspired naman by the infimum. Property basically ito ng infimum and supremum. So if I subtract u minus L of f, I can subtract this, I have this. But I know that this is less than here, epsilon over 3, and this one is less than 2 epsilon over 3 combined together, that's less than epsilon. Finished, therefore f is integrable on AB. Well, to show that the limit holds, you see that if you take an index n bigger than n, then I can take the difference between the two and measure their distance, and by linearity I can make a single integral out of it. Then use the triangle inequality for integrals, like so, because when n is greater than or equal to n, this is already true. So by monotonicity, this is less than or equal to the integral of epsilon over 3 times b minus a dx. Constant na lang ito, you can put it out. So that's epsilon over 3 b minus a times b minus a. What results is epsilon over 3, epsilon over 3. But epsilon over 3 is less than epsilon. So for every epsilon greater than 0, you can select an n, so that if n is greater than n, this difference is less than epsilon. That is exactly what we mean by that limit. Okay, and we are done. As an example, you can consider this sequence. Naalala nyo to? Ito yung sa unang slide, sa pointwise convergence. You see that as n approaches infinity, this triangle gets taller and taller but gets narrower and narrower. So eventually 0 ang limit niyan. The convergence is not uniform because the limit of the integral is not the same as the integral of the limit. Ito nga yung example natin. No? The area is maintained as 1, but the limit has an area of 0 or integral of 0, so they do not agree. So as an exercise, let's evaluate the following limit. Limit of the integral. So as you can see, this is kind of weird sa umpisa. Why? Because without the limit, if you're going to evaluate the integral alone, the way you do it in basic calculus is you first divide the 7th degree polynomial by a 4th degree polynomial. And then you expand, and then in denominator mo, factor mo, and then use partial fraction decomposition. Diyos ko, bago ka matapos, baka mamatay ka, hindi mo magawa. Okay? But if somehow we can interchange the order of the limit and in the integral, then I think it could make our life easier. Kasi we could first get the limit of this as n approaches infinity, and then take the integral afterwards. But remember, you cannot always do that unless the convergence is uniform. So the first thing to do is to let fn of x be nx to the 7 plus 4 over x plus nx to the 4th. First, let's investigate the pointwise limit. The pointwise limit is the limit of this. What is the pointwise limit, by the way? How do you get the limit of this if x is fixed? How do you get the limit? I divide everything by n, so it will become x to the 7 plus 4 over n divided by x over n plus x to the 4th. So itong dalawa ay mag-0. I'm left with x to the 7 over x to the 4th, which is x cubed. Now take note that the domain is the interval from 1 to 2. Okay? So tawagin natin tong f of x. Tapos on 1, 2. So therefore, fn converges pointwise to f on 1, 2. X cubed. Next, we wanted to prove uniform convergence. So, pwede kong pagpalitan yung limit at integral. How do I prove uniform convergence? I can use the MN test, right? To do that, you just assume that x is in this interval, then estimate the difference between nx to the 7 plus 4 all over x plus nx to the 4th minus x cubed. If you simplify this, what's going to happen? X to the 4th and x to the 7 over x plus magka-cancel. So, ito yung ating bound, no? Do we need an absolute value here? No need, no? Because x is positive, greater than 1. So, no need. So, it only needs this. Now, how do we simplify this? Well, take note that this is less than or equal to this. Because if I delete the x there, I am deleting a positive number in the denominator. Deleting a positive number denominator, so it makes the fraction bigger. Tama ba ako? Right. Okay. So, well, what else can we do here? Ang x mo nasa gitna ng 1 at 2. So, yung x squared mo sa baba ay hanggang ano lang. What? Ano ba yung x squared sa baba? Ang value niya nasa gitna ng 1 at 4. Okay? So, parang ang nx squared ay nasa gitna ng n at 4n. Kaya ang 1 over nx squared, babaligtad. Tama ba? Yeah. So, using this inequality, I can say that this is like that. Okay. But you know very well that this expression, no matter what this is just a continuous function. Can I move it here so I have more space? Okay. I know that this is just a continuous function on this compact set, so it has a maximum. In fact, it's less than or equal to something over n. And at this point, yung something that I don't need to know, basta it's just some number, you can take it to be the maximum of this function. I don't like to get the maximum, but it doesn't matter as long as yung n ay nasa baba. No? Ito yung m, lagay natin dito. Ito yung maximum. M is the maximum of 4 minus x squared on the interval from 1 to 2. Paano kinukuha yan? We don't care. Okay. So as you can see, ito yung nagsi-zero regardless of x. Kaya nga alam natin na yan yung ano, yung tag nito. Kaya nga alam natin ang convergence ay uniform. What does this imply? It implies that the supremum, ito yung uniform na, ito yung supremum na itong nasa left hand side, no? Kung ano man yung supremum, it will not exceed this because this is an upper bound. The supremum is the least upper bound. So this one is less than or equal to m over n. And because this converges to 0 as n approaches infinity, we can conclude that ito yung mn natin, right? Mn also converges to 0 and therefore the convergence is uniform. Okay, next, how to evaluate then the integral now? Because the convergence is uniform, ito susulat ko ng integral ulit. Okay, because the convergence is uniform, it's fn of x, right? is going to be the integral from 1 to 2 ng f of x. And that is x cubed. Oh, so this is just easy. 2 to the 4th is 16 over 4, 4 minus 1/4. So the final answer is 15 over 4. Okay. Let us show again using another example that this, nakita nyo na ito rin, that this converges to 0. No? So fn converges to 0. How? Uniformly? Well, you just take sine of nx square root of n minus 0. Mangyari sine of nx ito over square root of n. Now we also know that the sine of nx does not, well, it has a value that does not exceed 1. Right? So in other words, yung mn natin, kung ano man yung supremum na ito, it will not exceed 1 over square root of n. And because this goes to 0, we can conclude that mn goes to 0. And therefore, sine of nx over square root of n converges down to 0 uniformly on the real number line. Okay? Follow, you can always pause or rewind if you miss out anything. I am just speeding up quite a bit to reduce the data consumption whenever you watch. Okay? My second question, how about the derivatives of fn? Does that converge to 0 as well? Because I wanted to ask if the limit of the derivative is the derivative of the limit. Well, if you take the derivative, you see that the derivative of this is cosine, no? Parang n cosine nx over square root of n, and we can simplify that to square root of n cosine nx. And in particular, fn prime at 0 is square root of n. And as you can see, this diverges to infinity. It diverges to infinity and does not go to 0. So the answer to the second question is, no. So meaning to say, even though the sequence converges uniformly to 0, to a limit, no, we cannot guarantee that the limit of the derivative is the derivative of the limit, unlike in the case of integrals. No? So maybe the theorem about derivatives is quite different. In fact, you were right. In fact, the theorem, the role the uniform convergence does to differentiability is quite different. So, ano yung theorem? Let's read. Suppose that each one of this is differentiable on an interval I, so that ang requirement lang, this converges at some point. So, hindi required na mag-converge, or walang assumption na nagko-converge siya at all points in I. Ang requirement lang, nagko-converge siya at some point in I. Ito na yung mga assumptions. If each derivative is continuous on I, and the sequence of derivatives converges uniformly to some g on I, then we can guarantee that actually hindi lang ito magko-converge sa isang point. Actually, we can conclude that it will converge pointwise to some differentiable function, and that the derivative of the limit is g, which is the limit of the derivative. So, tingnan nyo, nangyari yung gusto natin, no? Except, ang assumption pala dito, no? Hindi yung fn ang required mag-converge uniformly, but the sequence of the derivatives. Okay? So, the proof of this uses the fundamental theorems of calculus. So, first of all, the first fundamental theorem, notice that if you pick an x in I, you integrate fn prime from x0 to x. By the fundamental theorem of calculus number 1, you can write it as fn of x minus fn of x0. Then rearrange. I'm going to solve for fn of x, this fn of x0 plus the integral. I wanted to show that fn converges pointwise, so I need to show that this has a limit. This does have a limit because of the assumption. But how about this one? So ito, i-solve na tayo. May limit ito. Ito. Well, dito papasok ito. I think may kulang dito. Ito ay may prime. May prime ito. May prime. Sorry ha. God bless. Joke lang. So, tawagin muna natin y naught. Natawa tuloy ako. Tawagin muna natin y naught yung limit ng sequence na ito. Real number yan. Para ito tapos na. Ito, may prime ito ha. This has a prime. Nakakainis. Ito na. Kasi yung fn prime nagko-converge uniformly kay g. Tapos lahat ng fn prime ay continuous on I. Kaya yung g, yung uniform limit niya dapat continuous din. Pagkatapos ang continuous naman, integrable din, di ba? So, kung ano yung sinasabi sa previous theorem, yun, mangyari yun. So, yung integral ng fn prime, nakakainis. Okay? Ay magko-converge sa integral ng g from x0 to x. You understand? So, ito, magpupunta ng y0. Ito, magpupunta ng integral ng g. That's the idea. So, kung tatawagin natin ngayong f of x, yung sum ng y0 at saka ng integral ng g from x0 to x, then we can now declare that fn converges to f. There is one more thing to prove. To prove that the derivative of this limit is actually g. That is not hard to do because we have the second fundamental theorem. You see, g is continuous. So this indefinite integral will have to be a differentiable one according to the theorem. So this constant plus a differentiable function is differentiable. And its derivative, ano bang derivative ng constant? 0. Ano bang derivative na ito? Second FTC, that's g of x. And finally, we are done. So, you see? So, in the next lesson, we will be talking about infinite series of functions. So, you might want to review infinite series of real numbers because napag-aralan siya sa Math Analysis 3 noon, no? So, that's all in this lecture. So, you see that the uniform convergence somehow make or fill in the gaps that we have for pointwise convergence. Okay, till the next lesson.